Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another Week 11 edition of Fantasy Football on the Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella. I am in studio with my man, Big Easy, and the angry producer, JDash /PPR /Fantasy Football Guru / you better listen to him, because if not, he'll come to your house.
Easy, Mad DZ /
Please believe he. Let's get into it. Tier 1.
The elite. Well, DeMarco Murray's on a bye. He's been killing it all season.
I bet you he gets 100 yards even on the bye.
I think we just heard that Arian Foster's questionable and not expected to play now. So if that is true, Alfred Blue gets a little bit step up, but nowhere near tier 1, 2, or 3. Then we got Matt Forte, Le'Veon Bell, Marshawn Lynch, Jamal Charles, and LaShawn McCoy, as Giovanni Bernard is expected to miss again.
I just want to see Bell get in the end zone this week. On the ground.
It'd be nice, and he has a good chance of it because Tennessee is bad against the run. He did not look good last week, but like we were saying, the Jets are good against the run. So I think this is going to be a big bounce-back game for Le'Veon.
Well, if I don't have tier 1, who are my must-starts right now?
I'm going to say Ahmad Bradshaw, Eddie Lacy, Andre Ellington, and Rashad Jennings, who is expected back this week, but you'll have to keep an eye out to see for sure.
Jennings is a PPR stud.
He is a beast, and so is Ellington, but I want to see how he plays moving forward with Drew Stanton at quarterback rather than having a more proven quarterback like Carson Palmer. Tier 3, Mark Ingram, Alfred Morris, Jerick McKinnon, Shane Vereen, Jeremy Hill, and Ryan Matthews, who is returning this week most likely.
Is Minnesota on the bye after this week, right?
I thought they already had a bye, but I am not quite sure.
Well, I know Peterson there's talk that he's going to come back.
Already had a bye.
Okay, they already had their buys. So after this week, it may be that Peterson could come back. So McKinnon may be bumped out to a tier later next week. So if you're going to get any points out of him and you need them, you need to get those points this week.
Ryan Matthews, I looked for him on waivers and he was gone, and I'm in an 8-team league, so
well,
someone scooped him up already.
I know you also have Jeremy Hill and Jerick McKinnon.
They're both starting for me. That's my 1 and 2 this week.
There you go. I play them both over Ryan Matthews. McKinnon, he has 14 or more carries in 3 straight games. He has 240 yards in that span. Yeah, he hasn't scored on the ground, but Asiata's not going to keep scoring on the ground. Eventually, it's going to be Jerick McKinnon. And then you have Jeremy Hill. He is coming off a very disappointing game. I'm sure you know that, but that was Cleveland. Cleveland's been killing it lately, and let's not forget, Andy Dalton was so terrible that no one on that offense was going to do anything last week. And you can't expect, if Andy Dalton remains playing like that, he's going to be out of this league real soon.
Get rid of him. He's garbage.
Tier 4, Frank Gore, Steven Jackson, who's taken a step up in recent weeks, Terrence West, and C.J. Anderson for Denver.
You think Jackson watched that movie Step Up and that's what helped?
Bust a move.
I don't even know what movie that is, to tell you the truth.
What about Frank Gore? You got him in tier 4, but I hear Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde may be taking some more carries from him.
He hasn't done it yet. Last week, Gore had 23 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown. It was one of his better weeks of the season, actually. I think
I was down on him. I was down on him last week. I seen him running and scoring a touchdown. I said, it's the last time I doubt Frank Gore. He's in real life, he's the truth. Fantasy, he's tier 4. He's number 1, tier 4.
Well, listen to this stat. I just seen it as I was looking up stats about Frank Gore. I noticed that they were winning when he gets a lot of carries, and it turns out that you guys got to quit dancing when I'm talking.
Okay.
But listen, SF is 5-0 when Gore gets at least 16 carries. So give him the ball 16 times already.
Just give it to him 16 times in a row, and then the game's over, right?
He has been inconsistent with just 4 double-digit games out of the 9 games played this season. So I'm saying, SF, the only way you're going to win is keep the ball on the ground, and Frank Gore is your best choice.
Gore only 4 DD and 4 PPR games.
C.J. Anderson, I want to talk about real quick. He's going into St. Louis. They do let up the 7th fewest fantasy running back, so this is a tough matchup for him. But he blew up last week. He had 90 yards on the ground. He had 4 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. Hillman's out this week, so He looks like he's going to get the start over Monty Ball, and he could end up being the starter for the rest of the season in Denver. If you have the starting running back, you're in good shape.
I'm pretty sure C.J. Anderson's the long-lost love child of Arn Anderson, who was one of the 4 horsemen in the WCW.
I have no clue who that is either.
Jeez, what kind of childhood did you have?
Oh, it was Arn Anderson. Ric Flair used to be in that.
Believe it.
I like the Junkyard Dog. Moving on.
He was in WWF.
Yeah.
Tier 5.
Trent Richardson, Darren McFadden, Joik Bell, and Trey Mason.
Trent Richardson has been a big disappointment for his career with being, the number 4 overall pick. Cleveland gave up on him early, dealt him to Indianapolis. Everybody thought it was a terrible deal for Cleveland, and Indianapolis had struck gold. He's been a Tier 5 type running back. That's about it. You haven't got much out of him. He hasn't seemed to really catch on to the offense, and he really hasn't done what they thought he could do with Andrew Luck at quarterback.
They were actually saying this was the next Adrian Peterson, if you remember, when he was coming out of the draft.
Yeah?
I don't. Does he have a kid yet, though?
I don't know. Yeah, see, he probably has about 6 of them. I don't know if he shoves leaves in their mouths when he beats them, though. I think he just beats them.
Tier 6. Brandon Oliver, Jonathan Stewart. I have Reggie Bush and Theo Riddick next to each other here. Reggie Bush is questionable. They may sit him out. That's the only way I have Theo Riddick here. If Bush plays, I drop Theo Riddick down probably 2 tiers. And then Charles Sims, who I am liking.
Yeah, if you listen to our line segment, you would know that Reggie Bush is out this week. We talked about the Detroit-Arizona game. They're going to sit him. His ankle's really still bothering him.
So Reggie Bush is out this week then?
That's what I read.
When Reggie Bush is out, Theo Riddick puts up big points. So look for him to be involved in the passing game, and he probably will get 5 to 7 carries maybe.
Get some.
Now, Charles Sims, he goes into Washington. They let up the 9th fewest of fantasy running backs. That's probably why I have him so low this week. But I think this is a good running back and probably their best running back out of him, Rainey, and Martin. He did fumble last week in his NFL debut, but his role is only going to increase moving forward.
How come we haven't talked about Darren Sproles yet? I thought he had a tier above tier 1. I thought Easy made that clear last week.
Where are we at? Tier 7.
Tier 7.
Yeah,
Here he comes.
Tier 12.
Bishop Sankey, Ben Tate, Monty Ball, and Darren Sproles.
Darren Sproles. All-purpose yardage leader in the league. Got it done for me last week.
He did.
I love you, Darren.
So Easy needed Darren Sproles to have a big week last week, and I had him in what, tier 6 was it?
You had him low.
I had him low.
Monday night.
I definitely did.
Those night game, those primetime games are when primetime players put up PPR.
Primetime PPR.
The funniest thing about it was
PPR.
he had
PPR.
He had 2 touches on offense. He
2
did.
TDs
He had
on
1
the
catch
OFF.
and 1 carry. He scored a TD in the passing game, and he had a return touchdown. So he ended up doing good for you. But I hear you still lost anyways. So
Yeah, well,
I guess it
that's
doesn't matter.
because I dropped Tom Brady in week 3.
I got 2 TDs. Yeah, you know me.
Tier 8, Bobby Rainey, D'Angelo Williams, Travaris Cadet, and Roy Halu Jr.
But Bobby Rainey, it's storming in Tampa.
Yeah, Charles Sims is starting to take lead of the backfield. Rainey only had 6 carries last week. He was using the passing game, so he did give fantasy owners a decent week. He had 4 catches for 42 yards. So at least he gave you something, but don't expect it going forward. He's going to get less and less playing time if Sims shows he can take care of the ball more because he already does have that fumble. Tier 9, Matt Asiata, Benny Cunningham, and Isaiah Crawwell.
Asiata's a touchdown machine. Every time he gets the ball, he scores a touchdown.
Yeah, he's scored touchdowns in 2 games this season and has 6 touchdowns this year.
I think he only has 6 carries, too.
It's ridiculous. He is being used in the passing game, though. That's why he is still somewhat useful in fantasy in deeper leagues. So if you're looking for a running back for a fill-in this week and there's not much out there, Asiata could be decent because he's still being used in the passing game, and Chicago has had their troubles in recent weeks. Tier 10, Nile Davis, Carlos Hyde, Devontae Freeman, Jonas Gray, Alfred Blue, who moves up if it is true that Foster is not playing. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. Did you hear anything about that?
I haven't.
Okay. And then Andre Williams, LeGarrette Blount, and Doug Martin. Give me something, people.
Carlos Hyde, right?
Carlos Hyde.
Carlos.
Yeah, he's a tier 10 performer.
See, I don't know. I think Carlos
36.
Hyde's going to have a bigger week than you think because
Well,
for everything I hear says he's taking carries away from Gore.
I don't know why it would start now after Gore comes off his best game of the season. It doesn't make much sense to me, but this is a good matchup for Hyde and Gore both. They into Giant Stadium. Is that what it's called? MetLife Stadium. They led up the second most to fantasy running backs. He had 36 yards, and he scored his third TD of the season last week, but his touches remain real low. I just don't see it happening right now.
Well, what about this Jonas Gray? Who is that? Is he the long-lost member of the Jonas Brothers that I never heard of?
Jonas Gray is New England's running back when they decide he's their running back. You never know if they're going to actually keep Vereen involved or if they just want to run Jonas Gray instead. He has 29 carries over his past 2 games, so he is getting involved in this offense, but he's not used in the passing game at all, and in PPR, I am taking Vereen 10 times out of 10.
Vereen equals PPR beast.
Well,
Weak beast.
with Stephen Ridley out, Vereen has been playing pretty well. But let's end this segment.
Well, that wraps up our Week 11 running back edition. Thanks, Dash, and thanks, Easy, for sitting in. Thanks, fans, for listening. You can check us out on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can check us out on Facebook. Tune into our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Build that up. Everybody, good luck in your fantasy this week. Have a good night.
Peace.
Word.